A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development for international diplomacy, Ukrainian officials are set to unveil new peace proposals to U.S. negotiators on Wednesday, as President Volodymyr Zelenskyy emphasizes the urgency of these discussions ahead of talks with leaders from approximately 30 countries supporting Ukraine's endeavors to conclude the ongoing conflict with Russia. This meeting comes at a pivotal time, as tensions mount over a U.S. initiative aimed at achieving a settlement to end the war that escalated following Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. European leaders, including German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and French President Emmanuel Macron, engaged in discussions with former U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday, highlighting the critical nature of the negotiations. The European leaders have expressed concerns about the pressure being exerted by Washington for a rapid compromise, which they believe is limiting Ukraine's negotiating power. President Zelenskyy is navigating a delicate balance between safeguarding Ukrainian interests and demonstrating to Trump a willingness to find common ground, even as Russia remains steadfast in its demands. The support from Ukraine's European allies is crucial, as they seek to ensure that any settlement reached is equitable and serves as a deterrent against future Russian aggression, while also taking into account Europe's defense priorities. The French government announced that the coalition of nations supporting Ukraine will convene via video conference on Thursday to discuss the ongoing negotiations. Zelenskyy has stressed the importance of quickly uniting the support of the 30 allied nations, recognizing the challenges that lie ahead. Additionally, discussions with U.S. officials later on Wednesday will focus on a comprehensive document outlining plans for Ukraine's post-war reconstruction and economic revitalization. Ukraine is also finalizing a separate 20-point framework aimed at bringing an end to the conflict, which Zelenskyy indicated would soon be submitted to Washington. In response to Trump's recent call for Ukraine to conduct presidential elections, Zelenskyy declared that the country would be prepared to hold such a vote within 3 months, contingent on the provision of security guarantees during wartime and necessary amendments to electoral law. This openness to election discussions follows Trump's assertion that Zelenskyy is leveraging the war as a means to avoid electoral accountability. Zelenskyy has firmly rejected this narrative, labeling it as unreasonable, and has articulated the need for U.S. support to ensure a secure electoral process. The backdrop of these negotiations is filled with urgency, as Trump has issued an ultimatum, suggesting that Ukraine must accept a peace deal with Russia by Christmas or face dire consequences. Trump has criticized European leaders for their perceived weakness in resolving the conflict and has accused them of allowing a left-wing political agenda to undermine stability on the continent. In response, British Trade Secretary Peter Kyle has dismissed Trump's comments as indicative of a skewed worldview, emphasizing that the current geopolitical climate requires a nuanced understanding. Reports indicate that Washington is intensifying pressure on Kyiv to consider territorial concessions in exchange for vague security assurances. Zelenskyy has conveyed that Ukraine is actively collaborating with its European allies to formulate a robust proposal aimed at ending the war. In a recent interview, Trump acknowledged Russia's military superiority, suggesting that Ukraine's resilience may not be enough to counteract the overwhelming size and strength of Russian forces. He has indicated that Zelenskyy must act promptly to accept the latest U.S. peace proposals, hinting at the potential consequences of inaction. While some European officials believe that Ukraine is being cornered into a difficult position, Zelenskyy remains committed to presenting a united front with his allies. He has expressed confidence in the readiness of Ukraine and its European partners to present a detailed framework to the U.S. for consideration. The potential for holding elections in Ukraine has been a contentious issue, with many officials previously deeming it impractical amid ongoing hostilities. However, Zelenskyy's recent comments indicate a willingness to push for legislative changes that would allow elections during martial law, provided that security guarantees are established. Public sentiment in Ukraine appears divided, with some citizens advocating for electoral change after years without elections, while others express concerns about the feasibility of voting in a war-torn environment. As the negotiations unfold, Zelensky's diplomatic efforts in Europe aim to ensure that any US-led proposal to end the conflict does not disproportionately favor Russia, thereby safeguarding Ukraine's future against potential threats. The coming days will be crucial as Ukraine navigates this complex landscape, striving for a resolution that upholds its sovereignty and territorial integrity, while also addressing the pressing need for stability and reconstruction in the aftermath of the conflict. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.